Right, joining us this week is former Tranmere Rovers centre-back and Port Vale centre-back Antony Kay. Antony Kay, good evening, how are you guys?
Well, thanks for having me.
That was quite all right. Let's go back to first 2007 when you first joined Tranmere Rovers. You've been at Barnsley all your career prior to this move. Was that a big jump for you to leave Barnsley and join Tranmere Rovers?
Massive, to be fair. So I've been at Barnsley since I was 8-9-year-old, so it's all I ever known. And a big, massive thing for that as well, when I left, Chris Schuker. I'm good friends with Chris Schuker, and he left Barnsley and was at Tranmere as well. So he was a big influence for me going there.
You mentioned Chris Schuker as well. He was a cracking little player, Chris Schuker, wasn't he, to be fair? I actually forgot he played for both teams, to be fair, but he was a cracking little player, Shukes.
Yeah, I still speak to him most days. Now I live on the same estate as him because I still live over here as well in Cronton in Widnes on the same estate as Shukes. So I see him quite often.
Brilliant. You joined Tranmere in a Ronnie Moore team that had quite a lot of potential, to be fair, when you first joined. And you come in, were you impressed with the squad when you first joined the team? Did you think that was a squad capable of pushing up this league?
Yeah, when I came in, I was surprised because there was quite a lot of players that had played at a higher level. There was quite a lot of experienced players like your Robbie Stockdales right back. There were Danny Coyne in goal. You had Gareth Taylor up front. You had Paul McLaren, Mullin, and obviously we touched on Ian Goodison as well. So we had quite an experienced team. The first season, we didn't quite do that well. We finished mid-table. Ronnie kind of got rid of quite a lot of the older players, kept a few, but then got more. He got some good loan players in for the second season, which we did a lot better.
And that season that you talk about, the second season under Ronnie Moore, it was a fantastic season. I think every Tranmere fan who thinks back, it was a great season. And Ben Chorley as well, another great defender who played for Tranmere at the time. And we really pushed it until last game of the season. Scunthorpe going there, 6th and 7th, having to win, and heartbreak right at the end. I remember it very well. It was a Gareth Ed's foul, the lad, cross in, Cliff Byrne, right at the end. As fans, it was heartbreaking. As players, what was it like?
It's devastating because I can remember it like it was tomorrow. Craig Curran scored 1-0, and they was in the position above us. They had to draw or win. We needed to go there and win. And I can remember, so I'm good friends with Grant McCann, who's the Hull manager now, and he was playing for Scunthorpe at the time. And he even said to me that their manager went nuts at half time having to go at them because they were way off us. We were dominating, doing well, and then big giant sucker punch. And when things like that happen in a game, I don't think there's anything worse. The last minute when you just got it right in front of you and get it taken away.
What did Ronnie say as well? Could we know Ronnie's a big character in football. Yeah. What was he saying about it all?
There's nothing you can say at the end of the game because he's going to be as gutted as the players. That was the last game as well, last game of the season. You've just got nothing really to say. You've just got to keep the lads' heads up. You can't change anything, so you've just got to look for the future and keep everybody focused and hopefully try and keep the same team as next year, but just build on it a little bit, which you didn't get to do.
I must say it was a shame that after that season, a lot of those players, again, that they'd be moved on. Yourself as a Huddersfield Town, you got a move to a big move at the time. Did you feel like there was any unfinished business at the time? Did you feel like that if that squad would have stayed together, we could have taken that step the next season?
Yeah, 100%. With that squad we had, if we'd have just made a few more signings, because everybody was kind of gelling. I had a great partnership in centre midfield with Steve Jennings. Ben Chorley, Ian Goodison were doing well. We had Tails at left back, who we got in from Blackburn. We had Shotton at right back, who was on loan as well from Stoke City, who's had a good career. We had some good players. We had some good characters as well. Bass Savage up front. There was Chris Greenacre. There was Ian Moore, Ronnie's son. But I think because we had a good season, there was quite a few clubs sniffing around some of the players as well, i.e. me. I didn't want to go because I was settled up here. I enjoyed Tranmere. That second seed, the 2 years I had at Tranmere was probably, it's up there with probably the most enjoyable as well I had in my career as well. So I didn't want to leave, but circumstances, i.e. obviously it was a bigger club, financially for me and my family as well. It was closer to Barnsley, where I'm from, which I originally was going to plan to move back home, but that didn't happen. But like I said, I'd have loved to played again for Tranmere as well later on in my career, but that never happened.
And we'll touch on that a little bit later on. One of the players you mentioned just then, and he will forever go down as a Tranmere legend. You played and shared a changing room with this man, Ian Goodison. Now we've heard all sorts of stories about Ian Goodison. He's a cult hero. What was he really like off the pitch?
It was a weird character. I got on with him because with Goody, you've got to interact with him, have a bit of banter for him to come out of his shell, because he's very quiet. But once he comes out and he's comfortable around you, he opens up quite a little bit. And then, because I'm a bit of a character, I'm very vocal, and sometimes in the dressing rooms at half time, at the end of the game, because the way Goody used to play on a knife edge, he'd be doing little tricks in his own box and mess up. Because I don't think I'd ever seen him rush or panic at anything. Just his mentality, where he's from the Caribbean, it's just nice and chilled and relaxed. But I've had a few little set twos in the dressing room, but yeah, he's a big, massive character, and I think he'll go down as a bit of a legend at Tranmere. He was there quite a long time, 10, 11 years, was it longer?
Yeah, he got his testimonial. As I say, it was a fantastic serve. We've heard stories about him, and even the fans have heard this about his pre-season schedule. He always seemed to be somewhere else until the first game of the season.
Yeah, because Tranmere under Les Parry, because Les Parry was a physio at the time. You ask anybody who was at Tranmere and Les Parry took the pre-season, out of, I'm 38 now, so 22 years in professional football nearly, I've never had a harder pre-season in my life than Tranmere. We used to run up Mold Hammer, Wales, we used to sand dunes. There was just running constant for 2 weeks, and Goody, you wouldn't see him for 2 weeks. Yeah, Ronnie Moore would be going nuts on the phone. Where is it? And he'd probably just be laughing down the phone. He'd just take a fine, turn up 2 weeks later, and that were him. All the running would be done. He'd just turn up when the game started.
And that was the great thing. He missed out on the pre-season training, but he turned up and be the best player on the pitch.
That's why I think in football, it's a little bit different now, but back a little bit then, when you could really, as long as you performed on game day, then you could get away with whatever you wanted. And because he was a likeable character, he got away with it. And Ronnie liked him as well. So, well, every player did. And the fans loved him.
Anthony, what I've got to ask you, what would you highlight playing for Tranmere? Because, of course, you scored some decent goals as well for Tranmere.
Yeah, I'd just say the entire second season. I think I scored 13 goals from centre midfield, and we had some good games that season. Leicester won the league by a country mile. There had some great players in that team who played in the Premier League with them. I can remember winning them at Prenton Park as well. And everybody mentions it who plays for Tranmere, the Friday night games under the lights at Prenton Park. Well, yeah, you just got and stuff like that. But I'd say that full second season for me, apart from that last game.
And of course, one of your goals was against Leeds United as well, which is for anyone that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's always good when you play against the better teams or the big teams, because at Prenton Park, the left-hand side, they just fill the entire stadium that side, because you always want to play against big teams, big fans, better atmosphere. And quite a lot of the time when we played Prenton Park that second season, any team what we'd play against who was bigger, inferior than us, we'd win. We just fell at the last hurdle.
You went on later in your career to play for our opponents, Port Vale, this weekend. What was your time like for Port Vale?
I enjoyed it because as soon as you hit 30 now, you're classed as old. Everybody writes you off. And I was 33 at the time, nearly 34. And I had another year left at Bury. And Michael Brown, the manager at the time, Chris Morgan, the assistant, and I played with Chris Morgan at Barnsley. And he rang me up, and they offered me like a 2-year deal and captain and so on. So that would take me to 36, nearly 37. So then it was a move for me at that age. Not many people get 2-year deals, so I couldn't turn it down. But I enjoyed my time at Port Vale. Good stadium, good fans, passionate. They like the players to get stuck in. But at the moment, and since I was there, we didn't really do that well.
And this season for Port Vale has been very touch and go. Port Vale, in the reverse fixture, Tranmere were 3-2 down in the 90th minute and then won 4-3. It's been the same all season. They either get beat by one or they just batter teams. They're just so inconsistent this season. Yeah,
it shows that other manager got sacked. But the 15th in the league, just got a few little stats here as well. They've won 2 games in the last 12 as well, so you can see why they've changed the managers. And Danny Pugh's in charge, who was there. He was a player stroke coach when I was there. And the players have got a great respect for him. Well, I know for a fact that the players want him to get the job full time, which he probably deserves a go at it. But you only get that chance if you win games. And at the moment, they're struggling. So, and the team, like you've just said, they're changing the team a lot. They've got a big squad. They've got some good players, but they haven't really found that where they're going to gel at the minute, and they keep tinkering with the side.
And it's sad because when you first started out at Barnsley and Port Vale were in the Championship alongside Tranmere as well. So to see them as well as Tranmere in League Two, it's sad, really, isn't it? Because they are a team that could easily be higher up the leagues.
There's some big clubs, like they've got the stadium as well. When that's full, that could be 18,000. There were some big games there, but the biggest thing about Port Vale, if you ask any player who's played against them or for them, is the pitch. Their pitch is so big. It's wide. I think it's one of the widest pitches in the Football League. It's massive. So if you're a centre midfielder playing on that pitch, you're in for a long run. Loads of miles in your legs.
We'll touch on back to Tranmere. Tranmere this season, the current team. Have you been watching much Tranmere this season? Have you caught many games?
I keep little tap. Before I used to come and watch a few games, get some free tickets off Tim, because he's still there now. He's chief executive, isn't he?
He's club secretary.
Yeah,
yeah.
One of the main fellas. But I played with a few of their players. I always like to keep tabs with players I played with, clubs I've been at. And you've got like Peter Clark. I played with him at Huddersfield. He's doing well. He's getting old as well. James Vaughan. I think he's got 14 goals in the league for you. So Vaughan is flying. And when Vaughan is on form, he's a presence, especially at that level as well.
You mentioned there you played with Peter Clark at Huddersfield. Yeah. I think he might be same age as you, Peter Clark, actually. But he is probably the fittest player in the team. And he wouldn't look out of place in the Championship still at 38.
Yeah, you get players now getting older. You look after yourself a lot more. Because when you get written off at 30, 31, 32, you're getting older and older. Then people are saying, "Oh, is he fit? Is he that?" But if you get given a chance, people with a brain, which Pete has, or anybody who's still playing, they're there for a reason, and it's because they're still wanting to play. If you get people hungry at that level, they're there for a reason. So give them a chance and they'll prove what they can do. And I think Manny Month as well, he'll play loads better because Pete's very vocal, commanding, and that's what Manny Month needs, because Manny's pretty quiet. He's like a friendly giant, and he needs that person constantly shouting at him and keeping him on his toes so he doesn't switch off.
Well, of course, you had a good look at some of the current team, because, of course, you were training with the club last year. Of course, some have moved on, but in the time you were training with Tranmere still, were there any players there who caught your eye?
It was hard at the time because they were struggling, Tranmere, results-wise. But there was still the manager at the time. I think they had the assistant manager, coach, Jacko. Jacko was a good coach. Then he got given the job at the time when the manager got the sack. But it's hard when you go to a club and they're struggling because you get certain people, you get certain cliques talking. But when I can remember, I'm good friends with Darren Potter as well, and Potts is an unbelievable player, but he didn't get really a chance much to shine there. I think it's just a style of play Tranmere played. But Neil Dans, I've played with him. Dans is another one who's old, but very energetic, hungry. So they're quite a big squad as well. They had a big injury list as well when I was there, which didn't help them.
Did you feel like when you were training with the club that you could still you had something to offer them still, that you could potentially sign on for them?
Yeah, definitely. Because when I went training in October, end of October, while December, because I was signing for Bury, because Bury had just been promoted back into League One, and I'd agreed a contract to sign for Bury. So I was at Bury all July, all August, ready to sign, ready to play. And then the end of August, it went Pete Tong, as you could say it. The club got shut down, and by the end of August, a lot of clubs have spent the budget. They got the players in, so it was hard for me to try and find a club. So I was good friends with Darren Potter, like I've just said. He had a word with the manager, and the manager said, "Yeah, get him in training," which he was doing me a favour. He didn't want to bring any extra players in, but there are quite a lot of big injury lists, especially centre half. And with the team struggling, after a couple of weeks, I realised that I could still do a job and play for Tranmere, but I didn't think the manager at the time was keen, or he couldn't bring any players in financially. So by the beginning of December, I just decided to move on and just try and wanted to play football again.
I think you signed for Chorley very briefly after that.
Yeah, I signed for Chorley in January. Yeah, I was just desperate to play games. They were in the National League at the time. I was there 2 months, and then all the COVID kicked in and just ruined football, as it's doing at the moment.
Yeah, and now you're at Bala in Wales.
Yeah, I'm enjoying my time. It came along when Bala in Wales, the manager or player, I think, rang me up with one good friends, and I was like, I wanted to stay in football full time because it's all I've ever known. I want to carry on playing. But the manager rang me up and, look, he said, train once a week, twice a week sometimes, play. The training, it's like an hour, 20 minutes Bala as well, so it's a bit of a trek, but the training Wrexham at the Wales National Centre, so that's good. It's only 30 minutes from me. Colliers Park, it's called. And they were in Europe, so I'm thinking, in England, you have to play in a top 5 club in the Premier League to get into Europe, so that appealed to me as well. And we ended up winning, playing in the first qualifying round and winning Valletta, which are the Maltese champions. They're full time, so that was the first time in Bala's history. And then we played Standard Liège in Belgium, who were a big club, and we only lost 2-0 to them and missed a penalty at 1-0. So we've got a good team, and it's progressing as well. And he's offered me a contract for next season as well, so I'll be close to 40 with that one when that season finally finishes as well. So I'm going to keep playing until I drop.
And who'd have thought at this stage of your career you'd have been playing in Europe? Tell you what.
Exactly.
One of the I've been asked to ask you, by the way, one of the standout players for Bala, because one of our colleagues, Rob Edwards, he watches Scorio on S4C quite often, and he's asked me to ask about Chris Venables at play for Bala. What's he like?
He's 36, and he's probably in the top 3 fittest players at the club. And it's surprising that I've asked the manager a few times, and I've even asked him, I said, have you ever had a chance to play in the Football League? And he said no. He's got movement, he's got a touch, and I think he's scored 20 plus goals a season for the last 10 seasons. He's an unbelievable finisher, and he impresses me every time I see him play, train, unbelievable in the air. And finishing-wise, he's one of the best I've seen clinically. But the game's obviously a different pace than in the English league, so you might obviously he's too old now to go there, but 100% he's probably one of the best players in the Welsh league, given the fact he won the leading goal scorer last year in the league and the player of the season for the league as well. So he's a very good player.
Yeah, Rob will be delighted to have asked that question.
Yeah.
Anthony, let's talk briefly about life after football. Of course, you got a contract next season, which is brilliant news. You're in Europe again, which is brilliant news. But when you look to finish football, is there anything in place for you to go to a coaching role, maybe?
When I left Huddersfield, I went to MK Dons when I was 29, and I was there for 4 seasons, and that going there kind of opened my eyes a little bit towards coaching, because the manager there, Carl Robinson, he'd never been a footballer before, but the way he played football and interacted with the players, he got me more into thinking about coaching. And since 32, 33 hours, I started doing all my badges. I've got my B licence. I'm trying to get on my A soon. And that's what I want to get into, coaching, and I want to be a manager. So at the moment, I've got a football academy based in Widnes, which I do one-to-one, small groups, teams. So that's been going for 12 months. And so I've been playing for Bala, as well as been doing loads of coaching as well. But before that, I was coaching at Berry's Academy for 2 years, which I enjoyed doing there under 14s and 15s. So it's just, when you get to a certain age, when you've been doing a certain job for so long, and I've got so much knowledge to give back, especially to kids as well. I want to do that.
I must say, give your school a quick plug.
Yeah, get it on Instagram and Facebook. It's Antony Kay Football Development Academy. Give it a follow.
Brilliant. Anthony, wish you all the very best luck with that, mate. And we really appreciate your time talking to TRFC Radio.
Not a problem, anytime.
Cheers, mate.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Lovely. Thanks, mate. Speak to you again.
No
Thanks for that. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.